Dear students, welcome to the e-learning session. This initiative has been taken by Cambridge International School, Dusua. Hello, I am Navdeep, working as PGDIP here. Students, we have covered number of topics. So from those topics, in the coming week, we will just revise few of the topics. Clear? So just to refresh our knowledge. So hope you have understood the earlier topic. We are just going to go through the topics that we have covered earlier. So students, our unit number 1 that starts with structures in Pandas. So we have basically two structures in data structures in Pandas. One is data frame and second is series. So you can just have a look at the syllabus also. So with the distribution of marks, we are covering the unit number 1, that is data handling using Pandas and data visualization. And you can see that it carries 30 marks out of 100. So this is very important chapter that we are going through. Students, as already discussed, the unit 1 starts with data structures in Pandas. We have two data structures, data frames and series. Students, will start our lecture with Pandas. We just refresh ourselves. What is Panda is basically? So Panda is an open source, easy to use data structures and data analysis tools for Python programming language. Pandas data analysis and modeling features enable users to carry out their entire data analysis workflow in Python. So students, the Pandas is basically is there for data analysis. So this is a very important and vital tool of Pandas. This is a very vital package. Where it is basically used. So in industries, it is used in businesses and industry applications. In higher education also. With research and teaching also. In teaching, as we are all studying this one. In research side also. As we discussed that it is used in a big way in for data analysis. And with government also use this one. So this is the broader classification of industries where Pandas package is being used. So students, what are the features of this Pandas? So Pandas package is used for data wrangling. What is data wrangling? Is basically to basically apply different manipulations on the data. So that is what we meant by term extracting useful information from the data. Also in modeling also for data modeling, visualization, how to pictorially represent our data in a way. In high performance computing also, big data, you might have been familiar with this term big data, and very prominently used nowadays in statistical and numerical computing also, then in data mining, then in text processing, computing language, educational outreach and computation things. So you can see that it covers a wide variety of features where the uh, Pandas package is basically used. Next, the very first data structure of Pandas is data frame. So what is a data frame basically? Data frame is a two-dimensional labeled data structure with columns of potentially different types. So data inside the columns can be of different data types. It is a two-dimensional object, means it is having rows and columns with labeled data structure. So means the labels are basically the column headings basically. We can think of it like a spreadsheet. We can compare it with the spreadsheet like Excel, SQL table also, that is in the form of rows and columns. It is generally the most commonly used Pandas object. So data frame is the most widely used object of Pandas. So moving forward. So remaining on the data frame accepts many different types of input. What are different types of inputs it accepts? That is dictionary of one dimensional, ND, that is the number of dimension arrays, multi-dimensional arrays, list, dictionary or series. So this is the first one. Second is it can accept two-dimensional arrays also, that is we use in NumPy, structured or record n-dimensional array, a series or another data frame. So these are the different types of inputs a data frame accepts. Students will just with the very first method that we have seen in the previous slides, so we'll try to make a uh, data frame, so based on from a dictionary of series of, or dix stands for basically the dictionary. So let's move to the Jupyter notebook. So on the Jupyter notebook, students, the very first step is import pandas as PD, and step number 2 is import numpy. So these are the two packages that we will use. So because now we are going to make use of dictionary, so we know the dictionary, we understand from these curly brackets the key value is here is 1 separated by colon. Then we will use the series also, pd dot series. So we'll entirely later on focus on series also separately. We are just using it as it is now, 2 comma 3 comma 4. So these are the three values, and then we have the index values. Index values are again in the form of a list. So very first one is P, second one is Q in quotes, then is quotes R. So we are done with first one. Clear? So now move to the second list. So this is basically the key. Basically 2 is a key. We are using the series data structure here. So now here in this series we are having 4 values. And also the corresponding index values. So here the index values are P, Q, R, and then S. So these are the students' index values. Now moving next is will be converting into a data frame. So let's say df is equal to pd's package object data frame, and convert d into a data frame, and then at last just print the values, print d. So students, that's all we have. So I have given the run command, so this star means that my program is now running. So there is some error, so we might have missed the comma here. We are just again giving the run command, and now the star means that my program is running, is in the execution mode. So this is the very first method, is that is from dictionary of series we have made this. So students, here you can see the output. Clear? So the series 1 is containing 3 values, series 4 is containing series 2 is containing 4 values. So that's why for the series 1 we have a n, that is not a number, because series 1 is having less number of values. Clear? So this is the method, that the first method that we have used, that is creating the data frame from dictionary of dictionary of series. Clear? So we have by default here used made use the concept of series also, and we will exclusively work on this series in the coming lecture also. So this is, student, the very first method is. So now we move to the second method of creating the data frame. So students, similarly we can create a data frame from a dictionary of n-dimensional arrays. So what are the important points in n-dimensional arrays, students? First of all, the ND array must all be of the same length. Means if I have a first array and second array, both should be of the same length. Second is, if an index is passed, it must clearly also have the same length of the arrays. So if we are explicitly mentioning our index, so that must have the same number of values as the array is. So if no index is passed, the result will be in range n, means whatever the number of values we have passed in the array, the same sorry. So if no index is passed, so like here we have not passed any index, so it will automatically have the same number of elements as the array contains. So again, moving to the Jupyter notebook. So students, this time we are creating a data frame from dictionary of n-dimensional arrays or list. Clear? So very first step is providing the values in a dictionary. So again I am using 1 as a key and its corresponding values, like let's say 4, 5, 6 and 7. A point is for decimal values. Separator here, comma, then my second list with a key is 2 and its values are, let's say, 7, 8, 9 and let's say 4. Clear? Now simple step is convert into a data frame. df is equal to pt dot data frame to convert into a data frame d, and then for final output print df. So here you can, students, clearly see what sort of the data frame now we have. Just run this one. So you see here that we have created another data frame, but now this time we are using n-dimensional arrays and list. Clear? So this is the second method. So moving to our one more example of creating the data frame. So students, here you can see that for specify the values for each row, we can create a data frame directly. So here in this step, how we do this? Moving to the notebook. So here what we do, data frame is equal to pd dot data frame. So this is direct conversion. So here what we are finding, the first row is 4, 7 and values 10. The second row is values are 5, 8 and 1. Then I have my third row again with 3 values, 6, 9 and let's say 12. So this is my third row, and then I pass my index separately. So index is equal to 1, 2, 3. So I have explicitly now mentioned my index also, and I will also use my column labels. Column columns is equal to, let's say, in the form of a list, A, then the next one is, let's say, B in quotes, and finally we have the third column is C. Clear? So now data frame is conversion is done. So directly I will use df print for output purpose, df, and now I will run this one. So what is different here, students, that I have mentioned their index values. So if I don't supply the index value, so by default they will start from 0. If I explicitly mention the index value, so whatever my index values, that will be here. And similarly I have mentioned my columns also as ABC. As in the earlier one, in the dictionary case, I have used the column label as 1 and 2 here. So this is very important how we are creating the data frame. So students, this is very elementary part, how to create the data frames. Now we will take few examples, and we will go and divulge into the basics of data frame. So moving to the PPT again. So students, now we will discuss few of the MCQ questions. So like in the coming test you will find MCQ based test also in the current month, in the month of May. So the very first question is, for what purpose a panda is used? So what is the purpose of using pandas package? Option A is to create a graphical user interface programming. Second is to create a database. Third is to create a high level array, and fourth is all the above. So we go to the first is whether to create a GUI programming. So graphical user interface we are not creating with the help of pandas. Secondly, we are also not using to create it for a database. Option third is to create a high level array. So you know that now we are using n dimensional array. Clear, we are using series. So we are using list. They are all form of one or the another form of a array only. So the third option is to create a high level array is the right answer. And D option is all the above. Since A and B are not the right answer, so all the above cannot be the right answer under any circumstances. So we go forward and check out that the highlighted part to create a high level array is the answer for this question. So students, you have to be very careful while you are answering a MCQ. First of all, look at the options which are wrong also, because if you are able to discard a option, so means that is another way of giving the right answer in a MCQ. So be very careful while you are attempting the MCQ. So moving to the one more example. So data frame in Panda is a one-dimensional, two-dimensional array, three-dimensional array, or none of the above. So we have already explained a number of times that data frame object is basically used to represent rows and columns. So rows and columns are represented in a two-dimensional array. So no doubt. So the question is that the answer B is basically the answer. So moving forward. So one more question, students, just to basically refresh your knowledge that what we have learned about the data frame. So which of the following input can be accepted by a data frame? That is structured n-dimensional array, series, or a data frame, or all the above mentioned. So students, we are already creating the data frame using the n-dimensional array. Series we have already used, and from a data frame we can also create another data frame. So I think all A, B, C are the right answers, and the right option here will be all the above mentioned methods can be used for creating the data frame. So students, as you can see from a sample sort of a MCQ questions, that it's very important to go through any topic thoroughly. So my humble request is that you follow your textbook, standard textbook that we are having, so that you should also use your book very carefully. So you can also look at the resources that I have used. So you can see here for few of the topics, and you can also look at the link for where you will find number of MCQ questions over there. So hope you have found today's session quite useful. So I thank you all for attending this session. Thank you. Thank you.